Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady, where a woman goes into full mama bear mode and successfully fights off Karen. If you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe to join our awesome community. And now, without wasting any more time, let's dive right into the stories. Diffusing a Karen. I've been a long time lurker on this sub, but I have never had an IDontWorkHereLady experience myself due to the fact that I am 6'4", weigh 250 pounds and I have a pretty severe case of RBF. I did come across an IDontWorkHereLady situation recently though, while in my local Walmart. I was on my way to a wedding and had to stop and pick up some snacks. It was a potluck style reception and I was wearing standard wedding attire. White long sleeve button-up shirt, black slacks, black shoes and a blue tie to match the bridal party. To get to the food section in this Walmart, you have to pass the cosmetics, and on my way past I happened to overhear a very heated one-sided conversation. Being the nosy type, I naturally decided to check it out, and what I find makes me more than a little upset. I turn into the aisle and see a middle-aged woman, hereby dubbed as Karen, about 3 inches away from a young lady who could not be more than 25. Karen is screaming at this poor girl, demanding that she be shown proper respect, her needs be met, and the young woman do her job properly. Typical Karen rant. The part that made me angry, my girlfriend suffers from a fairly severe panic anxiety disorder, and I have had to help her through more than one panic attack. And I am intimately familiar with the signs that a panic attack is coming. This poor girl getting yelled at, who's not wearing anything remotely close to a Walmart uniform, is about 30 seconds away from a meltdown. Almost hyperventilating, widened eyes, darting around looking for an out. Fingers bleeding from having picked the skin around her nails, to name a few things I noticed. Seeing her in this state definitely made me angry and I felt I had to intervene. I walk up to Karen and very gently place the tips of my fingers on her shoulder. Me, excuse me ma'am, what seems to be the problem? Karen sees my outfit and apparently thinks I'm a manager.
Good, your employee is being unbelievably lazy and rude. I demand that you fire her immediately.
Me, realizing she thinks I'm the manager. I apologize ma'am, you have my word, I will deal with this matter right away. Before I do though, is there something I can help you with? Karen.
This lazy woman won't tell me where you keep the dog food.
Me. Again, I apologize for the inconvenience. Our dog food is kept on aisle 62 in the far right corner. I point to the other side of the store. Karen.
About effing time someone did their job.
Karen then glares at the poor girl she was yelling at and storms off without another word. I turn to the young woman and take a small step back and tell her in a soft voice that she's gonna be okay and that the woman is gone. She seems to have calmed down enough that she's not in immediate danger of a panic attack, so I kinda smile and say, "You might want to grab what you need and go." When she finds out that aisle 62 does not exist and I'm not actually the manager, she's gonna have a bit more to say to me, and it would probably be best if you were not around to catch anything in the crossfire. The woman looks at me confused at first, but when realization comes, she lets out a little laugh and nods. I give a friendly wave, grab my snacks, and thankfully I leave before Karen finds me again. Also, don't treat strangers like that. Anxiety is no effing joke and it's fairly common. Even if you are upset, you should always try to be kind because you don't know the person you're talking to. You never know when your petulant outbursts will cause someone else severe and lasting trauma. And then the plot twist. Karen finds actual dog food on aisle 62, calls corporate and leaves a compliment of how good management is. And to be honest, I don't think that Karen does not care about people with anxiety. I think Karen in general does not care about other humans. Lady recognizes me from work and demands I run her an errand. I live in a town in the Great Lakes region where the quality of people has been going down since we moved here well over a decade ago. So I figured something like this was inevitable, but I'm still surprised it happened to me, as it's next level stupid. I was at Walmart getting more propane for my outdoor burner I used to melt bismuth metal, as making its crystalline state is one of my minor hobbies. As I was finishing getting it paid for at the sports section register, a lady, calling her DL for dumb lady, came up to me and asked,
"I know you from Ems,"
nicknaming the store for ambiguity.
"Since you work there, could you run out there and get me some things?"
This is Walmart. Walmart. Me, I'm sorry but I don't drive yet, and our store does not do deliveries anyway. Also, this is Walmart. Lady,
"I have no time to run out. I need you to get me groceries."
I'm at this point not sure how to properly respond. I have a very minor form of autism that only seems to affect my face-to-face social skills, and I was raised like any other child to combat this, which I'm happy my parents did. I try my best, however, to calm the situation before it actually goes anywhere. Me, "Ma'am, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm not your personal grocery errand runner." I should have started with something else. Dumb lady,
"I don't care. Get me my groceries or I will call the effing police or something."
wait, what? Guy at the sports register overhears at that exclamation and realizes the two of us look nothing alike, and I'm assuming he knows immediately at this point what's going on. As if he has dealt with it before. Apparently, because he did. We will call him GG for good guy. GG. "Miss, please back off before I involve management. This is the second time this week." DL snaps her head into his direction like a banshee.
"Tell this man to go and get me my groceries."
Hold on. First off, she knows me from a different chain, and now she's yelling at a Walmart employee to make me go to said chain and get groceries for her there? Me? "Ma'am, you are literally at a grocery store right now. Can you please stop causing a scene? You're making me more uncomfortable than I already am." DL,
"No, this place is bad service anyway. You know what? I'm gonna speak to the manager and getting both of you fired."
GG and I exchanged the most flabbergasted faces. GG, "He doesn't work here, miss. I don't know what you're going on about, but..." DL,
"Shut up, you soap. I'm getting your manager."
DL runs off screaming profanities to who knows where. GG and I continue to stand with our jaws hanging. Sure, this town sucks, but this lady is a vacuum. Since I have my groceries paid for and in a bag, I speed walk to the car, and my dad comes by a minute later and we get in and leave. I did not want the confrontation to escalate any further, but I hope nothing bad happened after I left. I never heard anything new from that particular scene after that day. I spotted DL a few days later at work from the other end of the building, and she looked like she was hunting me down like a sniper of some sort. I slip out DL's field of view and tell a manager about the previous confrontation with her, and they say I can help out in the back room until she leaves. Later I hear DL found our management and began screaming nonsense at them, and she eventually got physical and started pushing them, at which point DL was arrested and banned. I have not seen her since, and management was reluctant to believe me about her at first because of just how stupid someone would have to be to do what she did. But they all bought all of it after that. I tried asking what DL said to them, but they said to just not worry about it as they handled it already. And no, nobody in this story was injured. I don't scar easy, but this stuck well in my head. I don't retell it much, but it's a fun story to tell in larger groups to get a wider reaction. Well, guess what? Now your story is retold to an audience of around 10 to 15,000 people. Either way, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some stars in the comments and like the video if you want to support me and enjoy my content. But now let's continue. Crazy lady at department store tries to chase me. A little bit of backstory: I used to live in Wisconsin, where snow can create slipping hazards in certain department stores. So one Sunday night I'm headed home from church and I decide to stop by Walmart to pick up a large storage bin. Was getting ready to move, so wanted to be prepared. Anyway, I make my way over to the storage bin aisle, trying to find the largest bin they had, when all of a sudden this rather large lady, let's call her LL, huffs up to me, snaps her fingers, saying I need to follow her and help her lift, insert whatever item she could not lift. Me, Oh, I'm sorry, I don't work here. Lady, huffing and puffing.
Well, obviously you work here, because you're wearing a tie.
I had a button-up shirt, tie and khakis on because I had just gotten out of church. For some reason, tie means I work at Walmart. Me? Nope, sorry, just got out of church, which is why I'm dressed up. Which I thought sounded pretty reasonable. Lo and behold, I just opened up the gates of hell and Satan himself was about to grace me with his presence. Lady,
I don't give a damn where you came from. All I want from you is to lift my damn item into my damn cart. Now get your butt over here before I get your manager and have you fired.
I'm a pretty laid-back guy, but at this point I snapped back at her. Karen, I do not work here. Now leave me the hell alone and let me find my bin in peace. At this point I grabbed the largest bin I saw, not heavy but rather awkward to carry, and head to the checkout line when I see Karen following behind me, still yelling obscenities and saying she's gonna have me fired. I'm a good 20 to 25 feet away from her, but she picks up speed and narrows the gap. She's honing in on me like a cheetah about to take down its prey. I was honestly concerned at what she would do if she caught up to me. By now, we have already gained a few prying eyes wondering what the hell all the commotion is about, and I'm looking around for an actual manager or employee to help me. At this point, I'm about ready to drop my storage bin and make a run for the exit when all of a sudden a miracle happened. Remember how I said it snows a lot where I'm from and creates slipping hazards? Well, lady was going a little too fast and slipped on a puddle and she fell hard. I guarantee the impact would have registered on the Richter scale. The sound that escaped her lips when she hit the ground was a cross between a moose bellow and a humpback whale mating call. The sound still haunts my dreams occasionally. Now I'm not totally heartless, so I slowly walk up to her, but still keep my distance since she was ready to rip my head off 10 seconds ago. Me? Are you alright? Do you want me to help you? I looked into her eyes and all I saw was pure evil. Satan himself would have shuddered at the glare I received. Karen,
get the F away from me! You shoved me!
Screaming and crying at the top of her lungs. Several other people had gathered and finally several employees. She eventually gets helped up, she's still crying and says she's gonna sue me for pushing her. Luckily for me, several other customers saw the whole debacle and said she slipped on a puddle, plus there were several "caution wet floor" signs. A manager comes over and speaks with me and Karen. Karen says she's gonna sue the store for having wet floors and that she wants me fired for ignoring the customer and making her run on the wet floor in the first place. Cue to me still holding my large bin. Manager, he doesn't work here. Also we have wet floor signs posted. Me, I just want to buy my bin and get out of here. This lady has been harassing me. Lady, blubbering and obviously embarrassed.
Well, someone better help me then.
Some employee helps her and manager apologizes to me. I go and buy my bin and leave. And you know, that's exactly where Karen belongs, in the loony bin. But stories like these really make me curious if anyone has ever gotten banned from Walmart. Judging by the comments I read here, that's apparently not the case. Get your hands off my son. This happened over the weekend with me and my youngest son. Let me describe my youngest son. 15 years old, just under 6 feet tall, 180 pounds. Size-wise, he's an adult, but once you look at him, he's still baby-faced, very little facial hair, and it's obvious he is still a child. He's also very shy and quiet around strangers. He's wearing a hoodie with his school name on the front, basketball shorts and socks with slip-on sandals. We are at our local hardware store picking up some items he needs for his shop class project. I'm standing by the cart and texting with my youngest daughter while he's picking out the various things he needs. Elderly gentleman walks up and says,
"Son, can you reach the top shelf there and get thing down for me?"
Since it's right above his head, my son does as asked and puts it in the man's cart.
"Thank you, Sonny. Here's $1 for being a good kid and helping an old man out."
My son says, "You don't have to do that," and tries to give it back. Older man says,
"Nah, son, you're here with your mama and I interrupted y'all. Go ahead and keep it."
Son thanks him and we are on our way. Standing in the checkout line, son remembers he forgot an item. It's only 2 aisles over, so he shuffled off to get it. The line was pretty long, so he had time. I answer another text from youngest daughter when I hear my son's distressed voice calling, "Mom!" This was akin to a wounded cub calling for his mama. The hair on the back of my neck stood up and off I go in search of my son. Mama Radar takes me straight to him, where some Karen witch has her hand on my son's wrist and is yelling at him,
I saw you helping that other woman and old man. Now help me find item.
Son has not seen me yet and yells, "Mom!" even louder. Karen tells my son to shut up, his mom is not here. I loudly say, "Oh yes she is, and you need to take your damn hand off my son, before I take it off you and shove it up your butt." Karen,
If he's your son, you need to teach him some manners.
and still has her hand on my son. Now my son is quite big enough that he could have removed her hand from him, but he does not like confrontation and he quietly says, "I told you I was shopping with my mom and don't work here." He tries to step away and she yanks him back. Or tried to, since he is twice her size. She yells at him again,
BS, I saw you help that old man.
to which my son replied, "Because he asked nicely." By now, this mama bear is enraged and seeing red, that this woman won't leave my son alone. I repeat to her that she has 10 seconds to remove her hand and walk away before I use my legal right to protect my child and remove it for her. And I start counting. 10, 9, 8. She screamed at me,
What do you think you're gonna do?
"Me in this state, it's self-defense when I beat your butt for assaulting my minor child." 3, 2, 1, and yes, I grabbed her wrist and twisted it behind her back, putting her on the floor. The floor associate has been watching behind me all this time, unknown to me, until I put Karen on the floor. I see him and tell him to call the police, I'm pressing charges. And yes, putting her hands on my son is assault of a minor in this state. He calls the store manager over his walkie-talkie. Store manager used to be married to my husband's cousin. He takes one look at me with my knee in the Karen's back and still holding her arm, while she's screaming at him to call the police and have me arrested and to fire my son, and says, "I don't suppose you will let her up and walk away, will you?" Me, nope. Store manager sighed and called the police. Both of us were put in handcuffs while they took statements and reviewed what the cameras caught. She ended up being arrested. I was going to be placed under arrest too, but I reminded the officer, "We have stand your ground / defend your castle in this state, and my lawyer, name, would have a field day with my case." The officer changed his mind and uncuffed me, telling me I was free to go. Guys, you gotta give Karen props for one thing. She does not care who you are or how big you are. She will harass everybody, no matter how old or strong you are. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the content for today. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to support me. And I hope you have a fantastic day and I see you again tomorrow.